Zaman moden ni Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani yang duduk di India. Penghujung dia kesesatan dia, akhirnya dia kata Anallahul Haq, akulah Tuhan yang sebenar. Anallahul Haq, akulah Tuhan yang sebenar. Anallahul Haq, akulah Tuhan yang sebenar.
In Toronto's version of Times Square, advertisers pay top dollar. And nestled among the flashing billboards for the latest Bond flick, the latest high-stakes gamble, or the latest frock, there it is, an astonishingly unlikely showstopper. And why this, they say, had to happen. With more than $150,000 of community funds, a barrage of publicity, to a free show, even free parking, at one of Toronto's most prestigious downtown venues. In just under 3 weeks, more than 2,000 people did sign up for a spot, a full house, and nearly 2,000 more called.
I ask you, if on that fateful day you were the leader of this community, entering the holy precincts of Mecca, 13 long years, you suffered persecution at their hands directly. 8 years, they sent army after army upon you. And in this process, you watched your wife and your uncle starve to death in a valley. You watched your friends and your families dragged through the streets, speared, slaughtered, and butchered like animals. You witnessed on the battlefield such inhumanity. They did not just kill your people, they mutilated their dead bodies and chewed upon their livers and spat them back at you. They took your daughter and ends her chance to give a new life in a child. All of these things they have done to you, and you're standing at their doorsteps and they're wondering, as was said, what would you do? What did Muhammad do? On that day, Muhammad turned to them, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, I will treat you as Joseph treated his brothers. Those brothers who had thrown him in the well to be eaten and devoured by wolves or rot to death in that hole. Until years later he returned sitting on that throne, and they came to him begging for grains, and he said, I am Joseph, but on this day I pardon all of you for all of your crimes against me. This is exactly what Muhammad did. And in the annals of history, no ruler or conqueror has ever shown such mercy and compassion for those who he conquers and returns a victor. This is the beauty of Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. This is what is obscured from the sight of the world when they see the battles, but don't see the victories of his moral and spiritual character, which always won the day. One revenge on that day he allowed. One revenge. That was for Bilal, the slave who had been tortured and dragged to the streets of Mecca for years. And all he responded in all those years was shouting out God's name, Ahad. If you recall, Ahad, God is one. And since he knew the pride of the Arabs would be shaken by what he was about to do, he felt this is the best revenge for Bilal and a signal to the Meccans of a new era, a new day. He said, Bilal, climb upon God's house now and call out the words of the adhan, the words to call people, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, there's none worthy of worship but God, and Muhammad is his messenger. Shout those words out from the top of God's house and let the Meccans know this is the victory of Islam, not by swords, not by bullets, not by guns, but by spirit and the power of our morality and our spirituality. Bilal, gave that call.